Water. Earth. Fire. Air.
From the creators of The Last Airbender comes the story of a new generation.
What makes you so sure your daughter is the one?
That was a 2,000-year-old historical treasure.
Whoops. It's time for your generation to take on the responsibility of keeping peace and balance in the world.
Your best friend is a polar bear dog. Somehow that makes perfect sense.
Who do you think you are?
Why don't you come and find out?
The era of bending is over.
Republic City does need you, but it needs me too.
I will destroy you.
I've never felt like this before. I don't know what to do.
It's okay to be scared. There's no place in the world for you anymore.
I wouldn't count us out just yet.
The Legend of Korra.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Big surprise, Netflix just made a big announcement about the future of the Avatar series. We have the new Avatar, The Last Airbender series that Mike and Brian are doing, the brand new episodes that'll probably be coming late next year, early 2021. But Netflix also announced that all the Korra stuff is now coming to Netflix too. Previously, it was just the classic series. Since they're doing a brand new version of the classic series, a lot of you have also asked me if they would do the same thing for Legend of Korra after that, because there's only 3 books worth of episodes for the classic series. So I'll explain what Mike and Brian have said about that, and other future animated projects, and I'll explain what happened to Team Aang between the events of Avatar The Last Airbender's finale, Sozin's Comet, and the beginning of Korra Season 1, because it's over 70 years worth of history, and they've really only glossed over that so far. Like, what happened to Aang? How did he die? What happened to the rest of the squad? Because some of the older Team Aang members like Zuko, Toph, and Katara did show up in the Korra episodes. So starting with number 5, the first thing that happened to Team Avatar right after the finale was Zuko was crowned Fire Lord, and you have the events of The Promise comic book. It takes place just a little while after the events of the finale, so not a lot of time has gone by. The Promise title is a reference to the promise that Aang and Zuko make to ensure that something like the 100-Year War with the Fire Nation never happens again, and the symbol of that promise eventually becomes Republic City as you see it during Legend of Korra. Now, it took a long time to build that city, but eventually they pick a site. It's meant to be this neutral sort of territory between all the nations and kingdoms where the world lives in harmony. At least that was the idea when they started building it. For everyone that saw the Korra episode, there's an awful lot of war that happens inside Republic City for it to be this peaceful place that Aang intended it to be. But during this period in history, there's a couple skirmishes and border tensions between the Fire Nation and other kingdoms because the war's only just ended, so tempers are pretty high. Zuko goes to see his father, Fire Lord Ozai, while he's in prison. They talk about the fate of his mother. He gets some details about what happened to her that just leave him to question what really happened. You also find out what happened to Azula right after the finale. She got locked up for her own safety, mostly because she went completely crazy during the events of the finale after the Agni Kai. Still super crazy, that doesn't change. And Toph starts her metal-bending school that will eventually evolve into the Metal-Bender City within the Earth Kingdom where her future daughter Su Yin will live. But Toph is canonically the first human metal bender in the Avatar universe that we know about, so she gets full credit for inventing metal bending. Number 4, then a little bit of time goes by, and you have the events of the Search comic book. The title of The Search is a reference to Zuko's search for his mother. They eventually do find her, and Azula uses the opportunity to go with them and escape, so she goes off into the wild and is running around the world. But initially what happened is that Zuko, as a child, believed that his mother abandoned them, and he and Azula grew up thinking that she didn't love them, and he just believed what he was told. I think that was just to make his backstory as sad as possible, growing up believing that his mother didn't love him. What they find is the true story behind Ursa's disappearance, that's the name of Zuko's mother, is that she didn't abandon her children, she was forced to leave, is because in the past, she learns that Fire Lord Ozai's father, Fire Lord Azalon, had actually ordered Ozai to kill Zuko as punishment for Ozai asking to be made heir to the throne following the death of Iroh's son in the siege of Ba Sing Se. Everyone cry a little bit and think about Leaves on the Vine. She discovers that Ozai was going to comply with Azalon's demand because he wanted to be Fire Lord no matter what. And in order to save Zuko's life, his mother offers to provide Ozai with an untraceable poison which he could use to kill Azalon, his father, and then become Fire Lord that way. Ozai agrees on the condition that Ursa would leave the city and never return so that nobody could find out that he secretly killed his father. The second condition was that Ozai forced Ursa to leave Azula and Zuko behind without giving her the opportunity to tell them why she was leaving. Then Ozai would keep them close to him as hostages, as collateral against her, should she ever try to come back and out him for what he did. Zuko's eventually reunited with her. They find out that she'd actually used the Mother of Faces ability to literally change her face and erase her memories of the past so that she could start over completely with a new life as someone different. She eventually got remarried, she's living a happy life when Zuko finds her, but she agrees to get her memories back from the Mother of Faces. Then once she does and she remembers Zuko, she apologizes to him for letting him believe that she'd abandoned him. They reconcile and she continues to live her new life, with Zuko going back to the Fire Nation understanding that she still loves him. So they get sort of a happy ending, and then during the Smoke and Shadow they address what happened to Azula after she escaped. She continues to grow up, but comes back to harass Zuko every once in a while, trying to make him more and more hardcore, become quote-unquote the Fire Lord she knows that he can be. Then number 3, we learned what happened to Toph, who went on to have 2 daughters from 2 different men, her older daughter Lin Beifong and younger daughter Suyin Beifong, both big characters during Legend of Korra. We only learned the identity of Lin's father and the fact that Suyin's father was a different man. A lot of people had wondered if Sokka ever got together with Toph and was one of her baby daddies, just because there was some implied chemistry between them in the original series, some shipping moments, but they never fully answered that question.
Oh, Sokka, you saved me!
So neither Lin nor Suyin know their fathers growing up. Toph's first husband was actually an earthbender named Kanto who died when she was pregnant with Lin. Then several years later, she has a relationship with another mystery man getting pregnant with Suyin, but the way that Toph explains it in her old age is that that man left her just because he couldn't deal with it. Mike and Brian haven't revealed who the second baby daddy was, but a lot of people want to believe that it's Sokka, and in present day, his whereabouts are still kind of unconfirmed. You don't find out how he died, but Katara implies that he might be dead. So it is possible that Sokka really is Suyin's father, but that would mean that Toph was lying to her daughters, talking about him as a man, quote-unquote, who left her when she was pregnant, because Sokka would never leave Toph when she was pregnant. Now, if Sokka were to die while Toph was pregnant and he did have that child with her, that's a different matter, but the comics haven't fully answered that question yet, so you're still kind of left to wonder. Number 2, Aang and Katara started their family having 3 children, Tenzin, Bumi, and Kaya, all really big Legend of Korra characters. Kaya was a waterbender, Tenzin was an airbender, and when he was old enough, because he was the oldest child, he actually got to travel the world with Aang while he was an adult as the Avatar, just putting out fires all over the world. Bumi, he didn't manifest any airbending powers till late in his life, so when he was younger, he joined the military, eventually became a general, but then retired to live with his family. Then when all the airbenders started manifesting during Korra Book 3, he gets airbending abilities too, and officially joins the new airbending nation. The reason that Aang died so young though, he died when he was around 66 biologically, not that old. He died because of the physical toll being in the Avatar state for over 100 years took on his body when he was stuck in the ice. So you have to remember that chronologically he died when he was 166 years old. His body just gave out from being so taxed. But number 1, I know a lot of you are also asking me, will they do a new live-action Legend of Korra after the new live-action Avatar The Last Airbender Netflix series that they're making right now? My assumption is that Netflix wants to use this as their big Game of Thrones level programming, their big Disney Plus killer. So they probably want as much new Avatar as possible, and Mike and Brian implied that there might also be future animated projects set in the Avatar universe, so it's not that they're just doing this new live-action Avatar The Last Airbender series, there might also be more animation in the distant future. Because it's taken them years to develop just this first live-action Avatar The Last Airbender series, if they do eventually do live-action Korra, that would probably be way, way down the road, and any new animation projects would be after that too. So for at least the next several years, it's just going to be about this brand new Avatar The Last Airbender Netflix series. But if you have any other questions about the Avatar lore or any bonus videos that you want me to do, just let me know in the comments. I did do a lot of Legend of Korra episode videos, but it was way back when I first started my channel, so the videos seem very different from the type of videos that I make now. You can click here for all my Avatar The Last Airbender videos and my Legend of Korra episode videos, and click here for that new Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 teaser trailer. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, I'll see you guys tonight.